Hello, happy Friday. My intention for our practice today is to open up the back channel of the body, starting from your neck, working your way down your shoulders, kind of your mid back, your upper back, and then we'll end with the hamstrings and the calves. So, in meridian theory, this meridian has to do with the bladder meridian. It starts at the eyes and it runs up and down, and then it finishes at the pinky toe. It's the longest meridian of the body, and we have 67 acupressure points in this meridian. So with that little nugget of information, let's begin, please, in an easy seated pose. And before I get into it, a strap or a belt would be really helpful today, if not a scarf or anything like, I should say, will do. Okay, so please come to Sukhasana. And habitually, if you notice that you always stack right over left or left over right, a gentle reminder to switch it up at this time. And then let's bring the palm of the hands to the tops of the knees. And I encourage you to shut down the external gaze. So we can talk about how at times the external gaze can play some tricks on the mind, on our perception. And when we bring the gaze internally, we can kind of refine our perception to hopefully this moment, this one moment in time. And in this one moment in time, hopefully we can find a bit more of a free flow with our breath and with our thoughts, even with our emotions as well. So having all of this gratitude for the breath that we breathe right now, please draw it in and draw it out through your nose. And this next round, try to hold the breath in your body for a brief pause. Exhale nice and slow out through the nose. And then stay empty at the valley of that breath out for a brief pause. And let's try that again. So inhale, fill through the nose. Retain that breath for a brief pause and exhale out through the nose. And retain for a brief pause. Let's do this one last time, please. So deep inhale and hold. Still comfortable, body is full of breath. And exhale, nice and slow. And hold. Good. Come on back to a thoughtful breath. Again, both in and then out through the nose. And it's in this steadiness in space that we kind of funnel our awareness to one or two things that bring a sense of richness to this moment. So let's stay in richness. Let's stay in kind of an abundance mindset. And in that richness, in that abundance, perhaps you bring your hands to the space of the heart and you bring your heart further forwards and further upwards. And then release your hands back to your knees, completely up to you. If you keep the eyes closed or if you open them, we're going to come into the neck first. So on the exhale breath, tuck the chin in towards the heart and just let the weight of the head hang heavily. You might start to notice a safe amount of tension through your upper back, through the upper aspect of your neck. Try to breathe into that. I think we can have a negative connotation with the word tension. It's not always negative. It's just kind of the tensegrity of the tissues. And our tissues kind of weave through our body like a matrix. Good. Anchor the shoulders further downwards and further backwards with each and every exhale breath. And then when the time comes and it feels okay, you're going to roll your head over towards the right side. So right ear to right shoulder. Some length, some space through the left side of the neck from the angle of the jaw to the top of the shoulder. Now, feel free just to pause if this feels good, or feel free to bring your right hand to your left ear. And then another option is to start to walk the tips of your fingertips further away. So left hand further away from your left hip. And it just opens this whole sideline from neck to shoulder and even shoulder down your arm. And maybe just tap into some creativity in the angle of the chin, whether you tuck or whether you lift. And all the while, you're listening to the feedback of your body, to the sensation of your body to add or to take away. So you're sticking with that middle ground. You're sticking with the Goldilocks rule. A couple more breaths on this side, please. And then release your right hand. And on the exhale, swing the head or tuck the chin in back to that central point. So chin tucking into chest. Come into the buoyancy of the lungs, the lightest part, as you breathe in. And cinch in from the narrowest part of the waist as you breathe out. And we'll do this for another cycle of breath here at center. Inhale. And then exhale to roll your head now over to the left side. So some space through the right side of your neck from the angle of the jaw to the top of the shoulder. Just begin. Feel free to add left hand to right ear. Perhaps even starting to walk the fingertips of your right hand further away from your right hip. And hopefully there's a bit of a a heavy quality to the exhale breath, in the way that your body is okay just to kind of drop down and to drop in. And your mind is okay to do just the same, to drop down and to drop in. A few more rounds of breath here. Good, and then let's release. Left hand if it's on right ear, to bring the head back to your starting point. And a few times roll the shoulders please up towards the ears, in breath. And then shoulders down and back, out breath. And 2 more, shoulders up to ears, in breath. And shoulders down and back, out breath. And 1 more time, shoulders up to ears, in breath. Shoulders down and back, out breath. Okay, so at this point, we're gonna come into a bound angle pose, or butterfly pose, soles of the feet together. And knees will open out to the side. Now in yin, we have a bit broader of a stance from heels to pubic bones. So you can take it as wide or as close as feels good to you. But we're gonna stick with that back fascial line by tucking the chin and rounding down. And then flexing or lifting the chin and looking up. So back line of the body leads on exhale as you round. And then front line of the body leads as you inhale and come up. And then just try it a couple more times. Lots of sticky spots perhaps along the way, just due to lifestyle. In Qigong, this is turtle poking its head. Good, 1 more time. Round down as you tuck. And then you're gonna spend a little bit of time in your bound angle pose. So if you're at home and you have blocks or you have a bolster, certainly you can support your head. You could also double stack your hands and bring your forehead to your feet. So not only is this posture bringing a little bit of that safe amount of tension, that tensegrity, to the tissues that run on either side of the spine, we also have some feedback through the lateral edge of the hips. From here, try to send the awareness and the energetic quality of your breath to the space between the shoulder blades. So it's like you're kind of bringing your shoulder blades further to the back wall or further to the back edge of your mat, to the shadow side of the heart. And then try to create space and move into space with the most amount of ease and the least amount of effort for the next few breaths. About a minute more. So I'll take one more breath here. Fully inhale and a long exhale. And then we're going to start to lift the chin, roll on up to seated. Good. Soles of the feet to the ground and windshield wiper side to side. Good. And then we're going to come to lie on our back. Before you get too comfortable, please find your belt, your strap, or your scarf. And then create your loop. Hug your right knee in and thread the strap around the ball of the right foot. So you're extending your right leg up towards the ceiling with your right ankle over your right knee and your right knee over your right hip. And then you can add a little bit of action, add a little bit of yang to your right foot by flexing, or it can stay passive. But we'll start our kind of ground series just by draining some of the fluid from our right leg. And at this time, you could keep your left knee bent, or you could extend your left leg long, completely up to you, but stay even through the hips. So both crests of the hips are equally touching the ground at this time. Good. So we're going to think about this action now coming from the outside edge of the right hip, or coming from the greater trochanter of the right leg. And we're going to take really small, thoughtful movements with the action coming from the bone instead of, say, the tissue. And so to do that, you're going to start to externally rotate the leg, so toes are out and heel is in. And then come back, and then internally rotate the leg, so toes are in and heel is out. And again, just try to work as small and as thoughtfully as you can through the upper part of your leg. Just kind of sifting through that SI joint. Good. Nice and slow external rotation. And then internal rotation. A couple more times. Good. And then hold the strap with your right hand if you're not yet there, and trace a few circles in space in towards the midline. Start small. It can gradually get bigger. And then the opposite direction again, start small and it can gradually get bigger. Beautiful. Next, in breath, please bring your right leg back to center. Bend into the knee. Remove the strap off of your foot. And then grab a hold of the inner arch of your right foot with your hand. So right thigh is coming down to the ground, and you're in a variation of half, happy baby pose. Keep rolling the end of your pelvis towards the earth. Deep, thoughtful belly breaths. We'll just be here for 5. And then please release, extend your right leg, extend your left leg. Brief Shavasana. So that concept of dropping down and dropping in so that you can observe change in your body. You can be a witness to the change in your body. Does one hip feel lower? Does one hip feel higher, heavier, or lighter? And then please walk your feet in, knees are bent. Locate your strap, your belt, your scarf to thread the strap around the ball of your left foot this time. So left leg is as stacked as comfortable for you. Heel over knee and knee over sit bone. And we start by flushing out that left leg, flushing out some of the fluid. Good, a breath more. And then if you're like me, I find it helpful to place my hand on the outside of the hip. That's our kind of tactile point of where we're rolling. So external rotation, toes are out and heel is in. And then internal rotation, toes are in and heel is out. Just a couple more times. So as thoughtful, as deep, working through the bones. Good, one more. And then back to neutral. Strap is in your left hand for your circles. Good, and opposite direction, a few more. To bend into your left knee, and please grab a hold of the inner arch of your left foot for your half happy baby pose, rolling the end of your spine towards the earth. Just 5 breaths. Good, and then release. So we have one more posture before Shavasana. Up to you if you go and find a bit of wall space if it's close, or you used your prop to come around the soles of both of your feet. So your legs are stacked. Both heels over both knees and both knees over both hips. So you're draining both legs at the same time. You're in a really gentle inversion where we have symmetry between the pelvis and the heart and the head. And we won't be here for too long, maybe kind of 10 to 15 cycles of breath. If you care to stay with your legs up the wall for your Shavasana, feel free. If you have that strap around your feet, feel free to remove it. And then we're going to end in whatever variation of Shavasana is most beneficial for you this evening. And so we let go in Shavasana so that we can start again after. We can let go of, tendencies that are no longer self-serving, thought patterns that are no longer self-serving. And something that I'm working on is, the story that we tell ourselves about ourselves. Often it's not always true. Kind of these limited beliefs that we hold. So let's move beyond limitations here. Let's move beyond kind of social construct here. And then 3 times. Fill, fill, fill through the nose. And exhale, sigh it out through the mouth. 2 more. Fill. And release. And 1 last time, please. Fill. And release. The starting over begins with movement. Expanding and exploring space like it's your very first time. Possibly taking a stretch. And then bend the knees. Roll onto your most comfortable side. And no hurry at all to come all the way up to seated. So with that, I hope your back body, a little bit of your side body feels better. And I look forward to seeing you all again next week, and whenever we can kind of meet back at the studio, who knows, but you're a big part of my weekly routine, and I thank you for joining when you can. Okay, bye-bye.